The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
You are listening to the 1420 Sports Bar Podcast. 4 beer with a sports talk and a whole lot more. We are part of the Belly Up Sports Network. Listen in as Brent and Dave invite you to belly up to the bar with them to talk about everything in the world of sports, just like you would do at your favorite watering hole. It's sports, beer, and shenanigans, so belly up to the bar with us, grab a beverage, and let's get into it.
The 1420 Sports Bar Podcast, 4 beer sports talk and a whole lot more. Episode number 308 on this, 8th day of June, 2023. Tonight's show is brought to you by SeatGeek and SeatGeek.com. Use promo code 1420POD at SeatGeek.com today and save yourself $20 on your first purchase. And we are part of the Belly Up network of shows. Go to bellyupsports.com and check out all the great articles and podcasts at bellyupsports.com today. Dave, I was shocked today walking down the street, and there was a guy wearing camouflage shorts. And every time I see a guy wearing camouflage, and I'm not besmirching anybody, but every time I see a person wearing camouflage of any kind, shorts, pants, shirt, I always, in my own sarcastic head, say, I can't even see that guy. What's your thoughts on camouflage? Do you own any?
I do not own a piece. I don't think I've ever owned a piece in my life. My son has some camouflage shorts. My wife has some cargo pants, but I myself, because I need to be seen, right? So I don't want to blend in.
Well, we're man of the people, Dave. We man of the people. We need to be seen out and about. Everything else, I think.
I love that joke. I love that joke.
I've
done it to complete strangers. I remember this one time. Me and a couple of buddies were on an elevator in a hotel. I forget. I have no idea where we were, and the fella and he was a little bit younger than us, but not too young. And he was wearing a camouflage shirt, like a t-shirt. I was like, dude, that hat's floating on your head. Like, where's your... And he didn't get it. And we were in a mood and just killing ourselves laughing. Yeah. So I apologize to you, unknown individual, 25 years ago.
I don't care. It's just one of those things comes across my smart-ass mouth every once in a while. Yeah, you fucking yeah. I can't see you. All right, whatever. It's just one of those. It's just funny to me that you see that, you laugh about camouflage. Like, who are you hiding from, man? Like, who are you hiding from?
Well, it's a thing, and and I get it, and whatever. If it's comfortable, wear it, and if it's your thing, it's your thing.
Yeah, I think the last time I had camouflage was like grade 6 or 7, because me and Dallas Smith and Lenny Melvin, and I can't remember who the other guy was. We used to go down to the river bottom in Fort McLeod and play G.I. Joe, and I don't know what was going on there. I don't know how I got involved in that whole take, but that's the last time I think I wore camouflage, about 1985, I think it was.
I do know that shit works, because I have played paintball. Once again, that's been about 30 years the last time I played paintball, and I borrowed some camouflage. You can really hide. That shit works. It camouflages you.
I played paintball with an Nanaimo Clipper. It was one of those team bonding things back in 93 or 94. And we went and played paintball, and I was like, it was like, I got hit by not hit by hockey pucks often, but getting hit by paintballs hurt a lot more than getting hit by hockey pucks. It was awful. I haven't done this.
Oh no, I loved it. Like, I'm a little bit of aggressive and like gameplay, and I'm okay with it. It does hurt though, because I always said that the first time you play, how are you going to know if you got hit? You'll know, right? Like, someone always, a first timer always says that. How are you going to know? Trust me.
Dave, the big news of the week, I think it came out on Tuesday morning. I was sitting having a cup of coffee watching CNN, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I can't remember, the talking head was on TV, that the LIV Golf Tour and the PGA Tour, they're for lack of a better term, the term they're using is merging. But that it was something I did not expect. I kind of knew it was going to happen, but not this soon. I had an idea that there was going to be something going on because the money's involved that was going on. But this soon, how that LIV Tour has overtaken. It's actually, in my opinion, it is now the big boy of the PGA Tour, and it runs the whole operation.
I listened to a podcast where a guy broke it down, and I was shocked as well. I was dumbfounded. A deal that big with billions of dollars being invested, it's ridiculous. How something this big can be, excuse me, can be kept hidden from the public eye. Like it astounds me how this news didn't get out or was even a leak, and they was able to just drop it, which tells me there's a lot of details to be worked out, but to have an agreement in principle. I listened to a podcast. I want to give credit to the fella, the Joe Pomp, I think it is. Yeah, the Joe Pomp show. And he broke it down. Well, he like, as far as he could obviously discern himself, the Saudis are the sole investor, and it merges LIV, PGA, and the European Tour. And the PGA Tour gets to have the most votes, but the chairman of the board is a Saudi, and the Saudi is the sole investor. So how do you think that's going to work? Right? So the Saudis are now making the rules because they're signing the checks. Whoever pays the fiddler picks the tune, man, and they're going to be picking the tune.
No, it's unbelievable how this like a year ago to almost to the day when I can't remember the Jackrabbit's name from the PGA Tour, how he
Monahan.
Jay Monahan. Sorry, I should have known that. I've said his name 1,000 times. Yeah. Jay Monahan, a year ago to the day at the Canadian Open, same kind of thing. A year ago, he was touting about the LIV Tour, how they were the morality of the 9/11 and the Saudis. You shouldn't, if you're going to be playing in the PGA Tour, you don't got to check morality at the door. We're the best operation in golf. And then a year later, he forgot. He literally forgot everything he said a year today. To a point, he didn't care what he said a year before, and to me, it was a bit off-putting. I don't care. Like I don't care. Like when I watch golf, I don't know what the political things are behind it. I never watched LIV Tour for 1 second. I'm not going to lie to that. But for this Monahan clown to go behind the scenes, and all the players to a man, they say they didn't know what was going on because the PGA guys, they aren't part of a union or a players.
They found out on Twitter
over Players Association. They found out on Twitter that the PGA or on or on CNN or ESPN, they found out on Twitter that they were now part of the LIV Tour, basically. And it's a bad look for the PGA, and it's a really bad look for all the high and Fanuffs and the high and mighties of the PGA Tour. It's a bad look right now for the PGA Tour.
It is, and and it's just a bad look bad luck. It's just reinforcing the point, right? Everybody has a price. How much? Because apparently from what this pod I listened to today, the Saudi investment is $3 billion. That's a serious chunk of change. And then the question it leaves me more questions than answers. Like this Monahan, who does he act on behest? Who votes him to the CEO? How does he get to run this? Who hires him? Who fires him? Did he have to bring this to a board of directors? But then you bring that to the board of directors, it's not like a publicly traded stock. In fact, I think it might be like a charity that you can donate, but I don't know that. I think
it's a .org, so it's a public thing, right? Little League's a .org, same kind of deal.
Yeah, it's not the purpose of the organization isn't to make money. And so, which makes it probably non-taxable and blah, blah. There's all these rules I'll never understand. Goodness, to see a check with that many zeros behind it, I'm assuming that's what these meetings were. How much? No, we're not for sale. How about this? No, I told you we're not for sale. How about this? Like that's all I can understand. The Saudis have set aside so much money to diversify their economy, and I want to say $360 billion they've set aside to diverse their economy through sports, through tourism, through alternate energy, whatever. And they've given this one guy, like, so they're paying, not Messi, the other guy, the pretty boy,
Ronaldo.
They're paying him, I want to say $200 million a year to play for a Saudi team.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ! Like, money has no bounds, and where is enough money? And apparently the Saudis are going to find out what everybody's price is.
And the thing is that like you hear about what happened with this merger, alleged merger. I don't think it's a merger at all. It was a buyout, I think, is what it was. Is that there was a some lawsuits that are coming about, and everything was going to happen, and the PGA Tour, for non-disclosure agreements, everything else, the PGA Tour didn't have the money to back their lawyers and everything going on. And so now you had a situation where the Saudi lawyers basically were better than PGA lawyers and had more money and said, okay, we won't bring up what we're going to talk about. Here's what it is. We'll pay for the whole thing. And we basically bought the PGA Tour. They bought the PGA Tour.
That's kind of they made the PGA Tour not have to worry about money, and like I said, the voting on the board is going to be predominantly PGA, but the one who signs the checks, and that's another thing. Like, no other, if anyone wants to invest into this new unified tour, the Saudi sports engine, whatever the fuck they're called, they're allowed to match. Like, they get right of first refusal. Oh, you want to buy in for another billion? No, here's $1 billion. Fuck off. Like, so, like, they have sole control, and it's written into the contract that they're the sole investors and the sole owners. The Saudi sports entertainment thing owns everything now.
We'll talk about players in half a second here, but I think it's a really bad look, and you see the social warriors on the Twitter machine and Facebook, wherever it might be, and I'll never watch this again. Well, you will. I mean, if you're a golf fan, you'll still watch golf. I'll on Sunday afternoon, I'll watch golf. I'm sitting at home. The game's over. I'll put the golf on. I could give a fuck that who owns the PGA Tour. Because a week ago I didn't care, so why would I care now? I don't care. So these social justice warriors that are saying I'll never watch again because I believe in my thought process, whatever it might be. But you see a guy like Rory McIlroy, Tiger Woods, who turned down a ton of money, that they have to be beyond pissed off that the way this turned out 1 year later.
Oh, I'm assuming Rory McIlroy has had some sleepless nights because he's just he carried water for the PGA.
Yeah.
And he got in fights like with guys that are on the LIV tour. Like, he was the face of the PGA. The first words out of my mouth when I see that Monahan guy, you owe me $500 million. You owe me $500 million. Like, I'm a bigger name than Brooks Koepka and Bryson DeChambeau. I'm better than Phil Mickelson, not the same career, but I'm better than him now. And you're gonna let all these motherfuckers who took their blood money come back, and I said no to $500 million. You owe me $500 million, motherfucker.
You play Jay Monahan, I will play Rory McIlroy.
Who called the meeting?
McElroy.
Okay. So I'm coming to you?
Yeah.
Okay. Face to face or on the phone?
Face to face.
Okay. That was me knocking on your door.
Hi. Do you want to come in, or are we just outside? Because I don't think I want you in my house.
Do you want me to just stand in the door, Rory?
I think
know
I think this is gonna be pretty quick.
I know you're mad at me, and you got to understand.
I'm not mad. Jay, I'm not mad. I'm absolutely 100% disgusted.
I realize it looks a little bit bad on the PGA
A little
Tour
bit
right now, but you know when you see the good that we're gonna do with this kind of money.
No. Jay, you've spoken enough. Let's go back a year. You told me that the going to LIV was a bad idea. The PGA Tour is going to survive. We're the best opportunity out there. And you spouted off about 9/11 and the Saudis, how rotten a bunch of people they are. And you talked down to the guys who went. So now I'm out $500 million. What? Do you want to come in? If you want to sit down, and this is going to be a long conversation, obviously. Do you want to come inside and talk to me? Because I cannot understand how you can do it in about face that quickly.
Yeah, I'd like to come in. Can I sit down?
Sit down.
Can I?
Not in that chair, though.
Okay, like at the kitchen table, or
I think you'll stand because you won't be here long.
Okay. Can I have something to drink?
Nope.
Okay. So Rory, you know what? You know how these things go in the press. You got to get your sound bites on, and you got to rally the troops. And we were really in a fight for our lives in the PGA, and the Saudis were throwing so. Well, like I say, once I can get people that once we have the PowerPoint presentation properly prepared for the PGA members, I think you're going to come to our side and understand why we eventually took the Saudi Arabian money.
So a year ago, you said I shouldn't take this money because everything was fine. And now, a year later, when I could have played 24 less times and made more money, plus I could have still played in majors, which was a lie a year ago. We said we couldn't. Now I'm the guy who's wearing this. $500 million. I'm fine. Look at my house. Look at my house, Jay. My house is nice. I hope you rot in hell. I hope you rot in hell because you lied to everybody. You lied to every single person that was part of this deal. And you knew this was happening. You knew this was going to happen. You knew this was going to be a merger, and you lied to every one of us. You didn't let us be involved in the negotiations. We're the players who make it. Yes, we're independent contractors. I get it. We don't have a union. We don't have a players association, but you lied to us a year ago, and you're going to be floating out. You're probably making more money than I am, you cocksucker. Get the fuck out of my house.
I will, Roy. And you know, all I'm going to say is, did you see that fucking sled I just rolled in? I couldn't afford that last year. I'm rocking a $100 million Bentley right now, and I got a yacht, and I'm going to party with strippers and cocaine, and fuck you guys too, because the Saudis are going to pay for it all.
Yeah. That
what else do you say? Like,
it's terrible.
It is terrible. Like, how do you sleep at night? Like, well, on a blanket stuffed with $100 bills. And
you know, and the thing, let's get away from the golf thing, Dave, a little bit. We talk about money and everything else a lot, and it 100% goes to show 100%. It shows that athletes mean nothing to these guys. Nothing.
Absolutely not. And as I thought about this over the last couple of days,
whether it be baseball, basketball, football, hockey, whatever it is, golf, fucking pickleball, the people who pay, it means these athletes mean absolutely nothing to these guys.
So what is to prevent the top 100 players from going on strike? We'll start our own tournament. Everybody chip in. Everybody we'll just do, like, we all got $30 million, like literally burning a hole in our pocket.
I was talking with Deanna back tonight. We're making some food there, and I said, like, if I was Rory McIlroy, we could go back to the role play if you want. I would, like, tomorrow he's supposed to tee off on the second round of the Canadian Open. He'll go, you know what? I'm good. I'm not
no,
playing anymore.
like what I would do is like pull out of like fulfill your obligations and your sponsors, but I'll just have invitationals. The John Ron Invitational. He'll pick a club, a course. Everybody puts in $2 million,
Like
whatever,
you
and then
think
sell sponsorships and do that, and then people
you
are
think about it, like the golf is a pretty elitist sport. We know that guys who are members of courses there, they pay hundreds of $1,000s at some places are 20 grand, some places are $1,000, whatever. Golf's in a very elitist sport. It is. Like, let's not kid ourselves. If Rory McIlroy right now, I don't know what his
net worth.
was not his net worth, but his he has to play a certain amount of games match a year, right? So
Probably,
if he were to just go, I'll play these five tour events I got to play no matter
whoever
what.
his sponsors are, right?
Whatever,
Like,
I got to play here. I got to play the John Deere. I got to play at the fucking this one, that one, and the other. And after that, you know what? I'm going to have the Rory McIlroy Open, and I'm going to have these rich elitist motherfuckers, because there's lots of them who play golf, who play $4,000 a round at Pebble Beach, right? So you know what? I'll let that guy play for me at the Rory McIlroy Open. And so now nobody's going to be watching the PGA Tour. The PGA Tour made a huge mistake, because I think these other guys are going to be like, you know what? I'm out.
I hope so.
Because now you have the live guys who are getting paid no matter what. And there's a few guys obviously that are the first tier guys, but you have a lot of like third and fourth tier guys who are not that good. So nobody was watching the LIV Tour. Nobody. You had to go to the CW after All American to watch the LIV Tour. The PGA made a huge mistake.
I think so as well, but money talks, bullshit walks. I think when we say the Saudis have a bottomless pit of money, they have a bottomless pit of money, and until when they're out there stroking checks, it obviously makes people rethink their moral
compass.
Outrage. Yes.
So is this a situation, Dave, where a week and a half from now somebody else does something stupid, because everybody does something stupid no matter what in the sports world? A week and a half from now, nobody cares about it because somebody won the Canadian Open, someone won the US Open, and nobody cares. It's going to go away.
Yeah, then so and
right?
It's something that because it's just going to go on, because people are going to want to watch golf, and at the end of the day, you want to see the best players. Like Koepka's obviously one of the best players. Rahm's one of the best players. Not Fat Reed. Patrick, I hope I never have to ever see that pudgy bitch again. I can't stand that guy. There's few athletes I hate more than Patrick Reed. But where was I going with my point? You want to see best on best competition, and that's just as a sports fan. And so even though I think iron sharpens iron, right? Pressure makes diamond.
The thing about golf is that like when Tiger was winning every week, you would tune into Tiger because he's gonna do it again. But nothing draws a crowd like a crowd when you get a guy like John Daly circa 1993 when he won the PGA Championship, and you tuned in. Does anybody care if fucking Dustin Johnson's winning another tournament? Right on. Right.
He doesn't draw eyeballs, but I can understand.
But you know what I'm getting at? Like when the underdog comes out of nowhere and he has a chance to win, he's in the final pairing and he's got a shot to win something. You're like, hey, that's pretty neat. Like
it's pretty neat, but it doesn't draw eyeballs. When and now this might draw eyeballs for a year or two, right? If Rory's going to be in a group with Koepka or Mickelson or one or DJ, it doesn't really matter, right? There's going to be some angst there. There's going to be a little bit of skin in the game. They mentioned the one article I read, they're going to try and maintain this team concept that LIV is trying to pull.
Ridiculous.
I don't get that. Golf is not a team sport. I get it. They do it in the NCAA for different schools and what have you like that. But that's a completely different animal. the President's Cup, the Ryder Cup, those are different animals. They're one-offs, one a year. And you're never going to, you can't replicate team play the way the Ryder Cup is a team sport, because it's different formats, different days, ending with the one-on-ones, right? And you can't ever replicate that kind of thing on a PGA tournament, right? Like any kind of tournament. Oh Jesus, I need this guy. If he holds this, and they have weak ass names. It's like junior highs. Like I looked at it once, like the
I know nothing about it. I never watched it.
the
I know nothing
Aces,
about
the
it.
Jolly Rogers. It's brutal names too, and I don't really know exactly how that works, but from what I read, the live people think that they are going to have these teams, and they're actually going to be able to sell them like a franchise, right? So now you got now Brent Risky owns the Rory McIlroy led Jolly Rancher Rum Smackers, right?
Not a bad name.
Well, thanks. If you're going to be Irish, it has to be booze in it someplace.
Like you and the thing that Liv got, it's I don't get it. Like the shotgun starts and different tees, and they all finish at the same time. Golf is a dance, right? And like everybody knows the 18th hole at Augusta. Everybody knows the Island Green at the oh, fuck, doesn't much matter. But you know what I'm talking about. Like, everybody knows the Pebble Beach hole, like this hole, that hole, that hole. And Liv goes, well, let's all start at the same time. We'll be done in 3 hours, and that's it. That's not how golf works. And
especially if someone gets on a heater on the last round. Right, so
that's what disappointed me. All these fucking guys forever and ever. Golf is such a tradition. It's a tradition. Don't drive on the green. Don't do this. Don't do that. You have to do this. You have to do that. All these high and mighty fucking golf nerds, and then all of a sudden, well, but if you give us $200 billion, that's it. It doesn't much matter anymore.
Yeah,
it's actually disgusting. It's disgusting.
It's money talks and bullshit walks. Everybody has a price, and the PGA has shown us that in spades, right? And it's not like they were hurting for money, but that's, there was an opportunity to make more money, and that's.
But the PGA Tour, whoever's giving, that's not going to the players.
Well, and that's the thing too. Like I could go on and on.
The PGA Tour is the only sport where you have to win to get paid outside sponsorships.
Yeah,
outside sponsorships.
The PGA.
But if you don't win, you don't get paid.
Yep, they can get fucked because they're making money hand over fist. And then once Liv started and they started blasting everybody, and Phil had his, you and I had talked about it a year and a bit ago, where Phil basically got kicked out of the PGA and he was forced to sign with Liv for his disparaging remarks that he made. But after Liv formed, PGA managed to find a whole shit ton more prize money for these guys. Where was that money before Liv, right? Someone's making money, and who is it? And that's another thing I read. The Department of Justice is snooping around their books quite a bit. And the fact that the Saudi Sport Foundation has bought them is not going to get the U.S. Treasury Department off their ass. So they're going to be looking a lot at seeing where all this fucking money goes, because those players got to be curious. Someone's making money.
And it opened up a can of worms now. Like, what the fuck's going on here? And I think McElroy's the kind of guy. He's a feisty
seems like
feisty
the man
individual,
of the people.
Man of the people. He like Brent and Dave are with the 1420 podcast here. I think McElroy he'll dig his heels in. And he'll go, you know what? I'm going to get to the bottom of this. I'm going to find out what's going on, because you know what? I'm the face of the PGA Tour right now. And I got fucked out of $500 million. And that motherfucker has the gall to go out and say what he said. I can't believe it. I couldn't believe it.
I couldn't believe it either. This is what I would like to see. I would like to see some of the PGA guys that carried water and got in fights with the LIV and got in front of the microphone, specifically Rory, because he was the face of it. I would like them to say, well, okay, well, this is what we want now. If you have your PGA touring card, we want a stipend. Everybody on the tour, whether you're Tiger Woods or the guy that missed 4 cuts in a row, who just got here,
Or
everybody
I'm not
gets
playing.
everybody gets $100,000 a year. Without we don't. We get $100,000. Like everybody gets a car, and I would imagine lodging but whatever, $100K a year just to cover expenses. Because those guys trying to break into the tour and making that cut, you don't make cuts, you don't get paid.
You don't get paid.
That's ridiculous. Because every other professional sport, I won't say every other, every team,
because who gets paid? CBS gets paid.
In hockey, if you're playing in the East Coast League, you're getting paid. If you're playing in the AHL, you're getting paid. You're not in the bigs, but you're getting paid. Those other guys, the guys that are making cuts, they're not getting paid, and they've sacrificed so fucking much to try and make the tour. You get to the tour, it's the best and worst day of your life, because if I can't make cuts here, you can dominate
the Corn Ferry Tour, the Hooters Tour, it might be.
Whatever, right? You dominate that, but until you can even make 2 cuts a year, and then you're fine. I think if you have your PGA card, you should get a stipend. I just made up that number, $100K a year, and then so now you can now you don't have to shit your pants over a 4-foot putt to make the cut every fucking Friday.
Would you, Dave Van Robes, if you were Rory McIlroy, would you just say, I'm good?
I would not. I would do everything I can to make life as unbearable as possible for that Monahan cat. I would have people calling for his head. I would be on Twitter all the time, or Instagram, Facebook, whatever. This is where he lied to me on this day. I would publish text. I would make his life fucking miserable. This is what he said to me on this day. This is the script he asked me to read.
To a man, Dave, not one player had any idea that this was happening.
That's what I read. They found out, and it's once again the same podcast I listened to. The news broke, and all the players, well, not all of them, a good chunk of the players are in Toronto for the Canadian Open right now. Yeah. And they all found out, and that Netflix golf thing reality show, where with Brooks, the cameras are there. So when this comes out next year, the next season of this Netflix thing, I am for sure watching that, because they're going to have raw footage of players finding out on Twitter. Like one of the players was like, have you heard the news? What news? He goes, holy shit. And then he forwarded him the news. Like, players were finding out by word of mouth. How secretive and dirty this looks. It's the fact that nothing was above board anywhere, anytime. And the people that they had, the PGA had, carrying their water and getting in front of cameras and picking fights for them, you didn't even have the goddamn decency to let them know with a phone call. That's disgusting.
And like I said, I could care less what goes on. It doesn't much matter, because if I'm not a social justice warrior by any means, because if you go in a deep dive, the NBA guys and Nike guys, there's fucking child labor, and there's this and that and everything else. So 9/11 was a horrible situation, obviously, but the thing that bothers me about it is that this Monahan guy actually brought up 9/11, right? Mm-hmm. And he brought up the Saudis being awful people. And yes, there's problems in China with Nikes in China and everything else, but I think you know what I'm getting at. So for this Monahan guy to bring up one thing and then do the complete opposite, that's where it looks bad. That's where it's dirty. Like the National Hockey League, there's obviously things going on but bad. There in the Major League Baseball, there's things that are bad. But I don't care. I just want to watch the sport. But for this Monahan guy to talk about the other side of his mouth as he did, it's a bad look. It's a really bad look for the PGA Tour. It's
ridiculous. He's the one that brought up 9/11. He's the one that brought
no one
up
else
that.
He did.
He's the one that brought up
and he's the one that made the contract.
Yeah, the Khashoggi, the American journalist, murdered and dismembered by the Saudi government. He's the one that brought that up. And how could we ever go into this?
You and I would never have known that.
Yep. Well, I did.
You may have. I wouldn't have. I don't. I
But
try.
nonetheless-
I try to. I
but
try to stray away from dismembering and death and despair in my daily viewing pleasures. But yeah, you know what I mean. Like it's crazy. It's
But
absolutely
yeah, to
crazy. The way it's
use
been turned
those, he's the one that brought it up. And how can we ever take this money to? They call it sport washing is the phrase they're using, because the Saudis are doing it with golf and Formula One racing as well. You brought it up, brother, and you're the one that says, like, how can we ever forgive this? Now we know, because you get $3 billion apparently is around the number we can forget such crimes.
It's what's crazy is that none in a week and a half, like I said earlier on, none of it's going to matter because somebody else is going to do something stupid and there'll be another headline. So all the talking heads like me and you are right now, it's not going to matter. It's not.
No, and it's
Like they're not going to get rid of the contracts because Dave and Brent are talking about it on a Thursday night, or because Stephen A. Smith is saying something, or because this guy's saying something, or because Colin Cowherd's saying something. It's not going to matter. These rich guys, they don't care. They don't care.
Yeah, and I get it that it's a shit ton of money. I would really like them when they say grow the game. So let's grow the game, right? Let's give everybody a stipend on the you have your tour card, you get X number of dollars to live, right? And then like the Corn Ferry Tour. So once again, like here's your gas money, here's this. Like let's make these guys. Let's give them a livable wage. Like some of those fuckers are living in their fucking car, driving 500 miles.
Put golf clubs at the local goat ranch that do something with all this money.
Yeah, do something to grow the game.
Because golf's expensive. It's not cheap, right?
Yeah,
and it's not just a Saudi thing. Golf's not cheap. Like all these people who fucking are going to be pissing and moaning for this week are all millionaires, billionaires. You walk into a country club and they're all a bunch of fucking guys drinking cognac for fuck's sakes on a Tuesday afternoon. Put something back into it because they're complaining about the LIV Tour, because you know what, you ain't changing that.
And and every name we mentioned of the players in the LIV Tour or the PGA, they get enough money for generations already. Like I'm not feeling sorry for them on account of their bank account.
I don't feel sorry for Rory McIlroy because he's fine. He's fine. He's not eating fucking Campbell's fucking tomato soup tomorrow morning.
Yeah, but no one likes getting jizzed on, and he got jizzed on.
He got fucking eaten alive for 500 sheets.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And then, like, what's kind of odd, actually, we'll get off this and we've gone a little long here, but what's kind of crazy is that the big cat himself, Tiger Woods, has been silent. He got offered $800 million. That would have taken care of what he lost to the ex-wife. $800 million to play in like 8 or 9 events. And
he was a damaged product, right?
And they said, here's 800 sheets. And he said, I'm with the PGA Tour. And then the PGA Tour toured him out there on a couple of events, asked him to fucking do this, do that, to help the tour out, to push LIV away. $800 million for a guy who built the PGA Tour back in 1997 when the PGA Tour was okay, but none of these guys were making money like they are today if it wasn't for Tiger Woods. And that's fact.
Oh yeah, you're right. Like he got a lot of money coming into golf, and
Nike and sponsors and on it went. There would be no Nike golf without Tiger Woods.
Eyeballs, TV contracts, right?
It was huge.
And it's massive. And
Mercedes and this and that, and Tiger hasn't said a thing yet. I'm wondering if eventually he will, because like no matter how much money Tiger has, 800 million is still 800 million to play 4 rounds is all they're asking.
To show up and
miss the cut or play in some tournament.
Could you imagine the trouble he could have got into with that on those LIV jets with the talent that they would supply him?
There you go.
Holy, if he was a younger man. But nonetheless, it is what it is, and we're just people that are going to end up watching golf. It's a story. It's something to talk about. It kind of makes me think, when Kobe Bryant got into his trouble in Colorado, his wife was going to divorce him, and he bought her like that $1.4 million ring. Like, this is now like, what kind of ring does Jay Monahan buy Rory to say I'm sorry?
Nothing.
Because I just fucked somebody else when I told you I was rather there with you.
$500 million.
Like, that's the only thing. You owe me $500 million. The other thing I thought about too was
I'm not teeing off again for the PGA Tour until there's an e-transfer in my account tomorrow morning for $500 million. It's that simple.
Did you ever see the movie Glengarry Glen Ross? Do you know what I'm talking about? Oh, okay. Well, there's a scene in it where their real estate salesman in the office got robbed, and Kevin Spacey was the office manager, and Al Pacino was the top salesman. And this sale would have put him over the top, and he would have won a Cadillac. And then he comes in, and then was robbed, and the one guy who Pacino made that sale to is like, I changed my mind. I need that check back. And like, don't worry about it. And he goes, I cashed the check. You cashed the check. My wife's going to kill me. And he left. And then Pacino turns to Spacey. You stupid fucking cunt. You fucking child. You owe me a Cadillac. You owe me sorry, Tony. No, don't say sorry. You owe me a fucking Cadillac. So that's that's McElroy to Monahan. You owe me $500 million.
Right now.
I did everything that was asked of me. And I went above and beyond.
That guy you signed the contract with on Monday night, Tuesday morning, you know his number. Tell him right now, I need an e-transfer in my account tomorrow morning for $500 million.
I don't care.
Otherwise, I'm not playing.
I don't care who signs the check. I don't care if it's in rupees. I don't care if it's in yen. I don't care if it's in pounds. I don't care if it's in euros. $500 million.
Bring a Super B of fucking loonies. I don't care. Whatever. You owe me $500 million.
$500 million.
Because that would take care. I'm fine, but that would take care of my kids. And obviously,
a small country.
And obviously, your kids are taken care of because you made that deal without us knowing. It's awful. It's horrible. It's crazy. Anyways, the 1420 Sports Bar Podcast, for Beer Sports, talking a whole lot more. This segment is brought to you by SeatGeek and SeatGeek.com. Use promo code 1420pod at SeatGeek.com or the SeatGeek app today to save yourself $20 on your first purchase at SeatGeek.com.
There's good.
You just listened to the 1420 Sports Bar Podcast. For Beer with Sports, talking a whole lot more. We are part of the Belly Up Media Network. Let's get into it.